So understanding that you can revise anytime during the week. So really it's all the way through Friday. It's usually till Friday afternoon, but we meet on Mondays. So you have until Friday afternoon to get it to me and let me look at it and do it. But if you wait till Saturday and Sunday, I don't revise on Saturday and Sunday. You might get lucky and get a revision on Saturday, but you guys don't check your stuff enough. You're not checking in the room enough. So technically, you're really supposed to be in the room 4 to 5 days a week. It doesn't matter how long you're in the room, but you're supposed to be checking in and studying and doing everything else. So it's like if you do your work on Monday and then I send it back and it says you got full points, then you're pretty much done for the week. But if there's a revision, you need to get it done because the idea here is to have you do it right. So let me show you one that was pretty close. And then I'm going to, if I can find it, where did it go? Okay, so this is about as close as you're going to get except for a few things. Any of these little letters like this have to be in italics. Okay? Just so you know that, and all the rest, not this week because we're not doing any of these letters, but the R, the letter T, the letter F, the letter, let's see, R2, mean, capital M and capital SD, they're all in italics. So from now on, if you don't do it, you're just going to get marked down, okay? Or if it's early in the week, it's going to be sent back for revision. But that's a crazy revision when you got to know that. So now you know that, you need to make sure that you get that handled. So make sure that you are, all these little letters are all in italics. Makes it so much easier. Like this person put a space between their side, okay? It's a paragraph. It needs to be indented. I know it's little small things. So everything else is correct here. Just that little bit. Everything you're going to do from here on out is a paragraph. I don't want number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. It's a paragraph. So I need you to make sure that it's in one paragraph form. It starts out the way it's supposed to. It ends the way it's supposed to. You're taking care of business. And if you have a problem, cat's meowing. If you do have a problem, that you're getting in touch with me so I can fix your problem. The problem is real easy to fix. The question is, will you pick up the phone and text me or call me or whatever it is to get it done, okay? There are times that you're going to go through and it's just not going to make any sense. It just isn't clicking. That's fine. Text me, call me. You know, if you can copy, if you're typing on the screen, copy and take a picture of it, send it to me, and say I don't understand this. I can easily send you back some information, or I may say we need to talk on the phone. We whip it out real quick and we keep rolling. If not, what you have is you have the problem of you're making too many mistakes, okay? Remember, it can be 100% every week. I don't care, but it's gonna be because either you did it right the first time and got it perfectly correct, or you had some revisions. But you can't wait till Saturday to do the work because Saturday I'm busy, Sunday I'm busy. If I'm lucky enough to be sitting, if you get it to me Friday, Saturday morning when I'm up at 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning and grading papers, then I'm going to check your stuff and I'm going to send it back to you. Sunday morning's a wash. I don't even do anything on Sunday. I'm preparing for my next week on Sunday. So the sooner you do the work that you need to do, the sooner you get it in, the sooner I can revise it and tell you to get it right because I need it to be right. I don't need you to get a 0. I don't need you to have a 3 or a 2 or whatever it is. I need you to have perfect scores because if they're perfect scores, that means they're correct. That way, when you decide and you go on to your capstone and you decide to do this, it's a piece of cake. You already know what to do. You already know the data. All you got to do is learn how to get to that point. Okay? And we help you with that in your capstone class. But the more that you know now, the more dangerous you are there in that very minute portion of time that you have to do your stuff. I can't tell you how important it is for you to be ready for your capstone and not just walk in blind, okay? Because you're going to get dinged if you decide to do stats, okay? That's why I'm only doing graphs tonight because you will be doing graphs probably in your capstone. Out of everybody I've talked to, you all have to do graphs. So this is a real important night for you to understand what's going on. Okay, so that's round one. Any questions on this? I don't have any video from hardly anybody. So you're going to have to, well, I got Aiden. Oh, there you are. Thank you. If not, I think you can give a thumbs up or something. So, okay, so let's move on from there. Don't save. So tonight, we're talking about graphs, and this is your assignment for the week, okay? This is not up yet. Okay, this PowerPoint is not up there. It will be up there as soon as we're done with class, okay? I'm also going to splice the video. It'll probably come in 2 sections depending how long I talk. But this is a real important night. When you're doing your capstone, they're going to have you do some kind of graphs, whether it be for your age or gender or whatever you're looking at. If you're looking at a correlation, you'll probably have a scatter plot. There's lots of things out there. The real big key to understanding graphs is it's a visual representation of the data, okay? Sometimes it's just basically for knowledge, and sometimes it tells a story. I mean, all of them really tell a story. If there's 49 males and 51 females, the picture doesn't really do that much justice, but it does show that there's more females than males. When you do a scatter plot or a histogram, they have true meaning to your data and really give it an idea of how important your data is, especially when you're doing your scatter plots. Like when we do correlation, when we do a scatter plot, if you can look at a scatter plot, it tells a visual story of the words that you'll be writing. And it's so important because it kind of gives you a different look. So look at this way. When we do our data, which is like right here. Why are you restarting? When we put in all the data, so this is what the data look like from basically everybody. Where'd it go? There it comes. Let's see, I want to open that right there. And you guys can see this on your screen, right? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Perfect. So this is all the data, and there's like I think almost 800 of them here. Okay, there's like almost 800. 797. That's what we came up with. Okay. If I was just to run like we did last week, descriptives and frequency. So let's just run a frequency of age. If I run just a frequency of age, it tells numbers, but it doesn't tell a lot. Now, if I go up to graphs and I do a graph here, hit OK. And then I'm going to do let's see, a pie chart. I'm going to throw my pie chart in here. I'm going to take age and slice it by age, and then I'm going to hit OK. So here is the same representation of both. Okay? We had a lot of 50s. We had a lot of, 31 to 40, and then the rest of them are here. It's a different, same numbers, just a visual representation. Let's see if I can do this. Graphs, chart builder. Okay. So let's change it to a histogram. Oops, sorry. Let's change it to a regular histogram. And I hit OK. Now, here's another visual representation. Okay. You'll see 0, 10, 11. It tells you that there was more 11. The visual gives you the idea. Of course, up here you can look at the numbers and go 240, 250. You can already see that. But this is visual. Now here's your mean. Here's your standard deviation. Okay, and basically it's 3.18. You can't really get a mean out of this because it's a number. But really, the mean's pretty close to the center. You make it up that way. Okay, so it's truly a visual representation. They're very easy to do. It's basically once you understand your numbers, then it's easy to set it up. And they're mostly done these the histogram and that are basically done on your data. So let's grab another one and see what it looks like. So if I go here, now I go, okay. And now I take out, can I take out age? Yes, I can take out age and put it back. Let's go race. 800 people, that's a lot. Okay. So then here is the breakdown of race. I can then also do, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to do analyze, graphs. Okay. Let's do can't do any of those. Do a line chart. Okay. And let's do demeanor. And I throw demeanor in this box. Will it let me? I'm missing something. Well, that's what it would look like. You could break it down. I can exclude, let's say, frantic and friendly and tired and sleeping. They start to become clear. So basically, SPSS can do all the work for you when it comes time for that. So understanding that when we get ready to do anything like this, these are, I'm not really going to go over error bar charts very much because we don't use them very often anymore, but the histogram, Boxplots, and Scatterplots, I just showed you a pie chart, okay? These are some of the things that they talk about presenting data. The thing I will tell you about presenting data is that when you look at your data, you want to make sure that whatever you're looking at doesn't look like hieroglyphics. So like if you have like when we looked at demeanor, there's so much going on that it doesn't really tell a story. So basically, you would want to take maybe 2 or 3 that told the story and talk about those. That's real important. Avoid distorting the data. That means don't put something out there that just is not really worthy of having some type of a graph. So if you have a yes or no question, everybody answered yes, you're not going to turn around and do a graph for that because it doesn't really tell anything. Okay? So why is this graph bad? Well, in terms of why this graph is bad, because the representation is extremely hard to follow. Okay? So in essence, there's too much stuff going on. So there was a TED talk about 2 months ago about doing doing presentations in PowerPoint. And we still use, this is a PowerPoint, we still use a PowerPoint a lot. So if I'm going back, the idea here is that when this right here, oh shoot, take finger off the cursor. There's too much stuff going on the screen. There's too much stuff to read. There's too much stuff going on. The rule of thumb in today's day and age is there should be no more than 6 items on your screen. Okay? And as you can see here, something like, why is the graph bad? The first thing you looked at when you got to that page is, why is the graph bad? Okay? What you really want to do is you want to pull the graph forward and make the title smaller. Okay? Anybody can look up and read what it is. If you've done a good job, you're not even going to need to read the title. It's going to be all labeled out correctly, and everything in the right place, you won't even need to do anything with it. Okay? Why is this graph better? Because it's actually the same graph, but what it does is it visually pops out at you. It shows you that the black marks, the error bars, are much different than, the thoughts are much greater than the actions. Okay? As you can see, number of obsessive thoughts, actions per day, and therapy. And these are the 3 different types of therapy. And and it really pops out on the page, and there's really no questions to be asked. Okay? Deceiving the reader. Okay? I saw this on 1 or 2 of the capstones from last semester, is that it has to look like something that is represents it. So if you can look on the one on the left, you'll see that it's at about 11, but they're large. Over here, they look smaller, but it actually still goes to the same size. So you want it to be, bottom line is, what my professor told me was, make it look good, okay? Don't scrunch something down to put it on a page. If so, then you got to give it its own page and make it look representative of the whole. So basically, the most that this was 11. Over here, the most that they're talking about could go all the way to 50. You're kind of gives your eye like, where's the rest of it? Are we missing something here? This is a much more representative of the sample. Okay, the next one up, the first one we're going to talk about is histograms, and they're really important. Okay, it's basically a plot. Okay, and there's an X and a Y axis. The score, in this case, it's the score and the frequency that we're going to show you. Histograms help us to identify the shape of the distribution, the skew, the kurtosis, and the spread and the variation. Okay? Is it going to the left or the right? Is it a high peak or a low peak? And the spread of the actual scores. This goes really pointing toward using the normal, finding out if your data falls into the normal curve. Okay? It also will show you unusual scores. Scores that are way outlier to all the rest of them. Here's an example. I wanted to test the Disney philosophy, wishing upon a star makes all your dreams come true. As I told you, Andy feels kind of crazy, so all of his stuff really is out there. Measure the success of 250 people using a composite measure involving their salary, quality of life, and how close their life matches their aspirations. Okay, it was from 0 to 4. So 0 to 4, this is called a Likert scale. Capital L-I-C-K-E-R-T. It's a name of a person, okay? And anytime that you're doing anything that goes from like 0 to 3, 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 6, so on and so forth. And it's giving it to a basic feeling or opinion underneath it. Strongly disagree to strongly agree, like to dislike, happy to extremely happy to extremely sad. 0 meaning nothing there, complete failure. 4 was a complete success. Participants were randomly allocated to either wish upon a star or work as hard as they can for 5 years. Okay, success was measured again after 5 years. So this is what's called as a pre and a post test. So basically, here's the resulting histogram. Okay, you can see that the mean was 57.42, which puts it right here, and that puts it right in the area of this largest histogram plot. Okay, you'll see that as it goes across. Okay, on the bottom, level of success after intervention out of 100, and this was the frequency. So basically, it was done on a frequency. So it started at 0 to maybe 5 or 6 or more. And then it moved up to 57, 58, and all the way down to 120. As you can see, I'm able to draw on here, which will be really bad, but I'll do the best I can. You can see that there is a curve here, which is really bad. But you'll see that underneath that curve are most of the scores. They are more spread out to the higher number than the lower number, but it still has a relative curve. So this would be a relatively normal distribution. okay? If all the bars were over here, or all the bars were over here, that would give us something different. It would be either skewed to the left or the right, positive skew, negative skew, okay? But in this one, we have a normal curve. That's what this really looks for. It does two things. Somebody needs to mute it. Somebody's got to mute, guys. So basically, in this normal curve, you'll see the numbers are here. It tells us a lot. It tells us where the most of the numbers fall visually. It also tells us that it's in the normal curve, and it tells us the mean and the standard deviation. Well, we can see the standard deviation is 18.26. So we start here at 57, and you'll see that a lot of the numbers, although they're positive here, you'll see all the numbers are within about 18, right in this area of the variation. If that number was higher, let's say it was at 25, 28, even 30, the more spread out, that top would drop down and it would become more platykurtic, and it would look a little different. Box plots are different, but it shows us the median, the upper and lower quartiles, and limits which the 50% of the scores lie. Whiskers show the range of scores, the limits to which the top and bottom scores lie. Now, the box plots are real important, but we don't really use them too much anymore. They do come up when you start getting a higher statistics. They really start to come into play, because what it does is it shows us where our extreme scores are on a much different scale. So like in the histogram, these are the same numbers, but the histogram didn't really tell us exactly where those numbers are. They put them into groups and gave you a visual picture of the curve. Now here, this tells you on the right side here, the top is your upper 25, this is your lower 25, and the median, the middle, okay? Interquartile range is what it is. So this is basically the bottom. This is the top, okay? And this is your upper and your lower, okay? So you'll notice that not all the scores are there. This tells us about where it is. So actually, if you think about it, it's right in the ballpark. 57, right about here. That's where that upper quartile will be. Now, the rest would go down. But then there was a score of 204 and a score of 229. These are real important numbers to find out, because I think we talked about this before. I don't want to go too far into it, but if we were going to take our class and add my number in there, my number would be that number right here. Of course, I'm not 229 years old. I'm not 229, but this would be 56 years old at the top. You guys would be down in here, and there'll be maybe one or two outside this, okay? But then I would be way out here, let's say at the outlier at 56. And the reason the box plot is real important, because it gives us an opportunity to find out if there's something that is not working with the data that we have, okay? So if you had, in this case, you had everybody in the data that you brought in, everybody was in between 20 and 30, and out of 700 people, you had 10 people that were in their 60s. You'd probably take out all the 60s, because there's so many different things that could be so different between them and everybody else, that it could, what's called skewing the information toward the 60 rather than staying it in the middle. So instead of that mean for age being around 35, it could now go to 45 or even closer to 50. And if it did, then it's not representative of the actual sample. So that's one of the reasons why we use this. Error bar displays the precision of the mean in one of the three ways: the confidence interval using 95%. So this time I'm talking about 95%. We talked about the p-value, and the p-value being 0.05, and it being significant above and non-significant below. And we're going to go back into that again, not tonight, but next week. But that confidence interval is 95%. meaning that 0.05 that we're holding out for that alpha level, we're expecting that 95% of it will be done by chance. Remember, we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about chance and the probability of being right. The standard deviation and the standard error of the mean. Bar charts. Is there such thing as a chick flick? 20 men, 20 women. Half of the sample saw one of the two, a chick flick, Bridget Jones' Diary. The other one did Control Memento. Okay. Sorry. For some reason, it's really jumping today. Outcome measure. Physiological arousal as an indicator of how much they enjoyed the film. So, in this bar chart here, you'll see that the mean arousal for the Bridget Jones was probably about 14, whereas Memento was up here about 15. But this bar tells you about how much error there is between them. So it could fall between like 28 and 19, whereas over here, you're talking about between 18 and probably 11 or 12. So these are things that are real important. I'm curious as to why I thought I took all that out. Scatterplots. Okay. This is very important as we move closer to correlation. You need to understand your scatterplots before we go into correlation. We'll go over it again in correlation. It's a vital portion of your write-up, okay? Because it tells a visual story that you may not be able to get out of the numbers. Anxiety and exam performance, 103 students. Time spent revising, exam performance, and exam anxiety, and gender, okay? Whoa. Where did the scatter plot go? Hold on one second. There it is. This is what's called as a simple scatter plot, and you're going to be using this, okay? On the one side, you're going to see exam performance, and the other side, you're going to see exam anxiety. Through here is called the best fit line, okay? The best fit line. Down here is your R2, and I'll get to that in a second, okay? All of these little dots on here are all the scores. So, as you can see, the line is going down, okay? And I'm not going to go too much into detail. Just know that the best fit line tells you your direction. When you're doing a correlation, there's three things. There's direction, strength, and then the number. And the number tells both, and it reverts back. So the number tells about both. So the line here is going down. So in this case, it is a negative line. If it went the other direction, it will be a positive line. Okay? So as we see these numbers going up, okay, we can also see that the exam performance is going down. So as anxiety goes up, exam performance goes down, okay? So this is a negative correlation, okay? I'm not going to tell you if it's I don't know the numbers, so it's a negative correlation, okay? If it went the other way, it would be a positive. As exam anxiety goes up, exam performance goes up. Now, like this R2 down here, which is going to come up in about 2 weeks, that's going to tell you how much. There's 19% that is explained by exam anxiety, okay? This all done in the scatter plot, okay? It tells you the strength and the direction of of your correlation, okay? So I'll be honest, that's it for graphs, okay? So your homework, I will be posting this video with this additional scatter plot. Okay. I want you to write a review by Sunday. Okay. Of everything that you can figure out about each of the graphs. Okay. So we're talking, I'm going to, I don't know where the other one is. Some of this stuff is gone. It's going to be on the histogram, the box plot, and then the scatter plots. So it's not a long assignment, but it needs to be complete. It's not, go ahead.
So he's got to write a review on the 4 plots that you showed us?
Right.
And that's it.
You're welcome to go to the internet and pull stuff off the internet for how they're used. I don't care where you get the information. I'm gonna take this video and I'll put it up there. Use the stuff from the video. Use the stuff you find on the internet. But I want you, when I look at that, I want to say that when I look, because you spoke, Jared. When I look at Jared's, he has made a review that tells me everything I need to know about these graphs.
All right.
Okay. How long should it be? Page or two? Probably 2 pages. Not long. Okay. And then just post it in the file that I'm going to get you. We will be in the classroom next week. Okay. Unless we all want to do online. I see a hand raise.
It's on you. What's more conducive for you? We'll make your life better, Professor.
Yeah, I know.
No, I have a question. That's on my hand.
Is that what it says? You lowered your hand. It didn't say you raised your hand.
I put a hand up.
Oh, I see. I guess I get to lower your hand. I've never done that before. That was pretty cool. Way to go, Andrew. Way to do that. Hey, way to be on top of things. Go ahead.
But wait. So are we doing a summary on the graph itself, or that specific graph and the detail that's in that graph?
All the graphs that I'm gonna. Something's wrong with this PowerPoint. The one I made is not doing it. So I'm gonna fix the PowerPoint. You're gonna write a review on the box plot, the histogram, and the scatter plot. The 3.
With the detail, because like they all already have information placed in, so it's not on. Is it a description about the use of the box graph or the?
I want you to tell me everything that you can find on there.
Okay.
What I talked about today, what you can find on the internet, understanding. When I'm done with it, I want to make sure. I want to be sure that you understand what each of them are.
So I don't need to talk about the data that's in the example.
No.
Okay.
No, just their definition of them, what they're used for, and anything else you can tell me.
Awesome. Thank you.